Okay, so after watching Encanto for, I don't know, the billionth time, I got to thinking about Antonio because he is absolutely adorable. He is one of my favorite characters from this movie. But honestly, I'm beginning to think there is a much darker truth behind his existence. Yeah, Encanto's a dark movie. Who knew? No, so after scouring the internet to figure out just how old each of the madrigals are, I discovered that there is a 10-year age gap between Mirabel and Antonio. In the movie, Antonio is 5 years old and Mirabel is 15 years old. And while it's not uncommon for cousins to be relatively far apart in ages, it's a little less common for siblings to be that far apart in ages. So, Antonio has two older siblings. He has Dolores, who is 21, and Camilo, who is 15, like Mirabel. So, there's still that 10 years between Antonio and his next oldest sibling, Camilo. Now, don't get me wrong. It is possible for siblings to be 10 or even more years apart. Like, I know people who have older siblings who were like teenagers when they were born. So it's not unheard of. It's just usually siblings are close in age. So it's really weird that there is a 10-year difference between Camilo and his younger brother, Antonio. Given how the Madrigals are, in particular Abuela, who is very much the magic must stay alive. Everybody, their worth is put on their magic.
Whatever gift awaits will be just as special as you.
I'm pretty sure I'm worthless if I can be of service.
Yeah, I definitely think Antonio was essentially forced to be born. Is it dark? Yes. Am I going with it? Absolutely. So we know that Mirabel was the last one before Antonio to go through the gift ceremony, and that it didn't work.
Mirabel! Delivery! I gave you the special since you're the only Madrigal kid with no gift. I call it the not special since, you have no gift.
Thanks.
Oh, and tell Antonio good luck. Last gift ceremony was a bummer. Last one being yours, that did not work.
Now, we also know that Abuela was worried about the magic after Mirabel's ceremony didn't work and that she went to Bruno to get answers about the magic.
I had this vision the night that you didn't get your gift. Abuela worried about the magic, so she begged me to look into the future, see what it meant.
This family is just under so much pressure to be perfect, to be magical, all of the things.
Strengthen our community. Strengthen our home. Make your family proud.
Make my family proud.
I just wanted to make the family proud of me. Just once.
Everything was perfect. Abuela was happy. The family was happy. I've been stuck being perfect my whole entire life.
You can still marry that big dumb honk.
I never wanted to marry him. I was doing it for the family.
Yeah, my gift wasn't helping the family, but I love my family, you know?
I'm totally fine. Magic's fine. Luisa's fine. I'm totally not nervous.
Special like a drip, drip, drip that'll never stop. Pressure that'll tip, tip, tip till you just go pop.
I will never be good enough for you. Will I? No matter how hard I try. No matter how hard any of us tries. Luisa will never be strong enough. Isabella won't be perfect enough. Bruno left our family because you only saw the worst in him.
Bruno didn't care about this family.
He loves this family. I love this family. We all love this family.
So the point is with all this pressure that the family is under, particularly from Abuela, I would not put it past Abuela to go to Peppa and ask, read as strongly suggest, that she have another child in hopes that the magic would continue. Now, why Peppa? Simple. Peppa has 2 kids before Antonio, Dolores and Camilo. Both of them got powers. So she's batting 2 for 2. She's got a perfect score right now. Also factoring in that Camilo would have underwent the ceremony shortly before Mirabel because they are the same age, but Mirabel was the last one. And he got a power and Mirabel didn't. It's like, okay, there's a fault in here somewhere and it's not on your side of the family. Peppa, you got the 2 magical kids. Julieta, on the other hand, while she has Isabella and Luisa, who arguably have more useful powers than Dolores and Camilo, Julieta also has Mirabel, who is the reason why the magic might be dying. So we can't go to Julieta to ask her to have another kid because she might be jinxed. You know, she doesn't have that perfect score like Peppa does. Bruno, he's not an option because Bruno is gone. And we don't talk about Bruno. So, yeah, it falls on Peppa to go and have another child in hopes that the magic doesn't die. Or at the very least, to get confirmation of whether the magic is dying or if Mirabel was just a fluke. Yeah. Now, that's if Abuela did go to Peppa and is like, hey, could you maybe have another child so we can see whether the magic is dying? That's one option this went. The other option this could have gone is that Peppa took it upon herself. You know, we know that Abuela is worried about the magic. Peppa cannot be blind to that. And, you know, even if Abuela didn't directly come to her, she would probably be feeling a lot of the pressure from her mother at a distance to have another child because, like we said, she's got the perfect score. All of her children have magic. So there could have been like a distance pressure where it's like Abuela didn't necessarily come to her directly asking her, but it's felt like she could feel that Abuela wants her to have another child so that she can see whether the magic is going to live or if the magic is going to die. Yeah. Now you may be saying, well, wouldn't there be technically a smaller age gap if that were the case? Like 7 years, 5 years, whatever, because after all, wouldn't Abuela certainly want to know as quick as possible if the magic was dying? And yes, I do think there would have been a smaller age gap. I think maybe 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, but 10 years does seem a little bit long for this to be the case. And I do think that the smaller age gap would have been a factor if stress wasn't a factor. So, according to the Mayo Clinic health system, while it is unlikely that stress alone can cause infertility, stress interferes with a woman's ability to get pregnant. Research has shown that women with a history of depression are twice as likely to experience infertility. Anxiety also can prolong the time needed to achieve pregnancy. There we go. No doubt Peppa would have been under a lot of stress from Abuela, whether that was directly coming from Abuela or whether that was feeling the stress of needing to please Abuela, producing another child, it would have made it harder to conceive a child. So 10 years, over the course of 5 years, it's not that long. Like, because they get their gifts when they're 5 years old. And Mirabelle's didn't work. 5 years, Peppa and Felix, they're trying to conceive another child. You know, the pressure's there. They got to do it. And eventually, they do conceive Antonio. And he is born and he has magic. Spoiler alert for the movie. But if you're watching this video, hopefully you have seen the movie. Now, don't get me wrong. I do think that Antonio is loved by his family. I don't think there's any regrets about bringing him into the world. I'm just saying that if Mirabelle's gift, you know, had happened, like if she had gotten a gift, I'm not entirely sure that Antonio would exist. I definitely think that because Mirabelle was the last one who didn't get a gift, Peppa, whether directly feeling pressure from Abuela or at a distance feeling pressure from Abuela to produce another child, to continue the magic, to see if the magic is living or dying. I definitely feel like that's what was happening here. But let me know, do you think Antonio was the result of Abuela pressuring Peppa to have another child? Or do you think Peppa and Felix just wanted 3 kids and Antonio was what they wanted? Look, it could be that simple, but I don't know. I'm still kind of convinced that Abuela putting the pressure on everybody is the reason that Antonio exists. I could be wrong, but let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below.